Will you look back when you're old and gray and think those dumb kids had a lot to say when we were trying to make this night one you'd remember? I don't care if my wheels don't turn, I don't care if my pipe don't burn, as long as I am flowing through your veins after I'm gone away.
It's Thursday night, and you know what that means.
What does it mean?
It means that we're here.
We're here, and we're not allowed to talk about Hyperion. We mentioned it once, but I think we got away with it, so we're fine. But this week we're going to talk about, we've got James back from Scare Seekers, and we're going to talk about 2 more episodes of The Haunting Hour, which I picked out, which are kind of eerie, but not in too scary a way, I don't think. So without any further ado, here's James from Scare Seekers.
Hello.
I don't think you mentioned before when you were on that Scare Seekers is back. Have we mentioned that it's back before? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just kind of like very, like kind of spaced out episodes in a way. But yeah, we recently got one out earlier this week, so that's up for people to listen to.
Park Pulse is I should say Park Pulse. I don't know if you follow Coasters with Moi. He's called Ollie Moi, but he went to Cincinnati recently, and I think he went to a Reds game as well.
Yeah.
They did theme parks there, so I don't know if you want, because I know Park Pulse lives in Cincinnati, and Ben's there as well. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Ben. Hope you're well as well.
But if people want to slag off Hyperion, we're all up for that. But we're going to talk about 2 episodes today. I don't know if you've seen these episodes.
I think I saw, which one was it we're talking
There's
about?
My Robot and there's Spores. And the thing I hate about Spores is the name of it gives away what's happening, and that annoyed me. But...
See, I didn't know the name of it. I just...
Well, I can't really say that
episode.
episode.
Come across when you were watching it, and I was like, oh. So, but yeah. Which one should we talk about first?
Well, I want to talk about My Robot first. I've sort of got some clips here, so I'll play this first.
It was funny.
Hey, why don't you take it easy on me?
Why don't you take a hike? I had to punch your nerd face.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah? You gonna do something about it?
I won't. But my robot will. He'll get you.
Did he just say his robot was gonna get me?
That's what he said.
That's right. My robot doesn't like it when people mess with me.
Whoa.
I feel really bad. I can't remember the
I don't think I've
the kid
seen
with the
that.
glasses name, but basically, it starts off. It's going to be relevant later on, but they have a. I don't think I got a video of it because I got a lot of clips here, but they have this. It's going to be relevant later on, but they do the whole not Tesla coil, but the thing that makes your hair stand on end, and he was touching it. That's going to be relevant later on, but these bullies pick on this kid, and he accidentally lets slip he's got a robot. But obviously, they don't believe him that he's got a robot. And then the other guy in that clip is called Tim. Tim somehow gets the bullies away from him, even though Tim's not actually that big himself. But then I've got another clip. He kind of goes home, and then he's got an email.
Robot.
It's Philip, that's it. That's the other kid. But he's got, yeah. So he thinks that's a practical joke. And I don't know, at this point, did you question the validity of the robot being real? Because the first time you watched it.
Well, I think I thought the robot was real. I mean, the funny thing was when he was like saying to the bullies, like, you know, oh, you don't want to hurt me because the robot might come, and then like their teacher comes around the corner, so that made me think that the teacher was going to be the robot. But then it turns out, yeah, definitely wasn't the robot. But yeah, but kind of like the mystery that it kind of built up throughout the episode with different things all the way up to the end.
Yeah.
Because the email happens, and the next day Philip realizes that he might as well just pretend it's not happened. So because then they have it at school where the robot actually follows him to school. That's how he knew how to email Tim.
Did they see like different shots like just then? Like
you don't see the robot at all yet.
Is?
You've still not seen the robot.
Ah.
He follows him home, and then he sees. Now, to the episode's discredit, the robot, even for when this came out, looks pretty poor. What's your opinion on the actual robot?
Yeah, it doesn't look like exactly the best effects. I mean, the one thing I will say I think did work on it was the kind of like the black visor in a way, because it makes it look like quite a blank face on it, which made it look a bit kind of startling. But also the creepy thing was that I think in some shots like later on, like near the end of the episode, you can almost like see the actor's eyes and kind of nose underneath it in a couple of shots, which makes it a little bit kind of like creepy when it wasn't meant to be in a way. But yeah, overall the robot's a little bit naff, isn't it?
But because the robot's quite, I've got a couple of clips here that kind of show how strict the robot is, but then I've got another clip where Philip explains what's actually going on. But
Really don't want a smoothie today. Is it okay if we just save it for tomorrow?
I insist. I am here to help you.
My robot read that kelp and liver shakes are healthy for you.
No way. You're not actually gonna drink that gross stuff, are you?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I changed my mind.
It is essential that you get your vitamins.
It's actually quite terrifying with the music, actually, more than anything. But
so
I was just like, oh, it's going down.
where did you think, before we get more into the episode, was there a point at this point where you had some idea of what you thought the ending was going, where it was going to go?
Oh no, I had no idea with it. Like, especially kind of like with the twist right at the end, kind of like the kind of dark twist with it at the end. Yeah, I had no idea where that was going. Yeah, it's just, it was very kind of, in a way, it's kind of like a very contemporary like story, but also very kind of zany with the robot at the same time. So it kind of makes you not really know where it's going to go. And yes, what I think Andy probably says here, that's definitely a welding mask.
That was brilliant.
So Tim leaves, but Philip has. Well, I'm going to play the next clip before we talk about any more, because I feel like this is going to say a lot of stuff that I'm going to say. So I might as well let the clip say it first. But Philip explains to Tim what the robot, everything about it, basically.
The robot's factory default setting is to help in every way. So he used to do my chores, he baked me cookies, even did my homework.
Sweet. So, what went wrong?
The robot started to learn.
Learn? What do you mean learn? It's a machine.
He has artificial intelligence for the high-functioning quantum optical processor. He read books, he surfed the net, and he decided that the best way to help me was to make me do my own work.
Did he mention... Sorry, I was thinking about what was happening next. Did he mention in that clip about his parents?
I think so, yeah, like very brief. Or I think it's like at the end of that bit where Tim says, like, why don't you just say no to it? And then he says he doesn't want the same thing to happen to his parents to happen to Tim, I think.
Effectively, his parents have left home, so he's kind of prisoner to this robot that just follows him everywhere and knows everything about him. But
Like babysitting him.
No, much worse than that. Jesus. So his parents have gone.
I'm
they don't want to come back.
funny out of it, but not quite.
But I haven't got any more clips of this episode till the end now, so I'm not going to play that till the end. But from my recollection, I mean, it's a decent episode, but again, it's one of those things where the episode is quite, like you say, tongue-in-cheek till the very end. But what they end up doing is they realise the Tesla coil they can use to reset it to factory settings if it gets shocked. But they need someone to help them get the robot there. So they actually talk the two bullies into helping them. But when they realise there is an actual robot, they decide to... don't they go for its... I've missed something out here. They go for its chest, but you learn early in the episode, if you go to touch its chest, it will attack you because that's where its off switch is.
Yeah, I think it's like the idea if you go anywhere near it that, it doesn't like it or it tries to attack you or whatever, so that probably stops you from... It probably explains as well, like, why they haven't, like, got anyone else, like, you know, the police or anything to try and attack it, because, like, you try and go near it in general. But then again, like, with the two bullies, like, when they touch it, it really only gives them, like, a shock. Like, it doesn't even, like, destroy them or anything, so it kind of takes away a bit of the threats, in a way.
Because, you know, like, I see a lot of horror stuff, but I would assume it's fair to say you're more clued up than me. Were there any similarities in this story to horrors you've seen before that were like they took some beats from that and for the story? Were there any things that came out to you?
I mean, nothing I could specifically think of. It was more kind of in a way like a psychological horror thing, in a way with like the way that the robot was kind of treating Philip. Trying to think if there's any like specific ones. I think there was. I can't remember the name of it now, but I think it's like a Stephen King one where like this guy gets like trapped in like this house with a woman, and he gets like tied to the bed and stuff, and like has his kneecaps like broken, doesn't he? I think that's the Stephen King one, and it kind of seems very similar to that. Yeah, I can't remember which one it's called now. But yeah, kind of almost like a psychological thing rather than kind of like body horror. Or there's like a couple of jump scares in there, but it's more kind of like the idea that this kid can't really leave or can't really like live his own life in a way, which is kind of the more horrifying bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone in the audience wants to. It's called Misery. No, I think he's talking about the Stephen
That
King.
could actually be the name. Yeah, I
That
can't
could be the
remember which
name,
one it
though.
was.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Andy from Christopher Jones or anyone else wants to have a guess as to what they think happens at the end before I go more into detail about that. But did you actually see this one?
I didn't actually see this one. That's the thing. That's why I'm looking a bit gone out in this episode at the minute. That's one that I didn't actually see in between work. So, what sort of the haunting hour, isn't it?
The Haunting Hour,
The
yeah.
Haunting Hour.
It's,
so I'll make sure
it's
try and watch
Goosebumps,
it.
but for older kids.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say that kind
I
of...
remember the doll one.
It doesn't give away the ending. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about the doll one day because that's two-part of it.
The doll's brilliant.
The endings in Haunting Hour are different to Goosebumps because Goosebumps always kind of has a nice ending at the end, whereas Haunting Hour was like, no, this person died or this person happened. And so, you don't know what happens at the end, or do you?
No.
Do you want to explain what you think happens before we go into it?
Does he kind of like get a bit?
He's read the thumbnail.
Overtaken by the robot in a way and become the robot as well.
Sort of close. Yeah,
Become one
I'll
with
play.
the
I'll play
robot.
the ending.
That
It's one of those
sounds
things
really
that's
random,
kind of. It's one of those things that's kind of sinister. But basically, the bullies get shocked and they walk away, but then they manage to. Because I think this clip starts from when they're just about to shock him. They manage to still shock him, and then.
Help me. Come on. It's okay. He's just rebooting. He'll reset to the original factory specifications.
Greetings. I am Robot.
Hi, Robot. I'm Tim.
Tim.
Yes! You just imprinted on the robot. He's all yours now. You knew this would happen. You set me up. I'm sorry, I can't stay and chat. I need to go eat pizza and ride my bike. And tell my parents they can come home. Oh.
Good luck with your robot.
Stop, Tim. I am here to help you.
I was just thinking then. I only thought it. I've watched this quite a few times this episode actually, but I didn't think about it at the time. But do you think he was a smart kid before he got the robot, or do you think that's because he was prisoner to having to do his homework and do all these things?
I think with the idea of him taking the bow tie off at the end, it might suggest that he wasn't smart to begin with, possibly. But then again, because isn't it that he bought the robot online instead of like making it? So I think. Yeah, so I guess it could go either way, but I think with kind of like him taking off the bow tie at the end, it's almost like he was kind of restrained by that. So maybe he was like a completely.
And also about halfway through, I did think if someone's tuning in now while that clip's going, what do they think's going?
Hey Sibby, hope you're well.
Hey Sibby, did you get on Hyperia for its one-day opening?
2 days.
Apparently, they're only going to open on leap years from now on the 29th of February, and then it'll be all right. Yeah, low, but it's a budget Crichton. What did you think of the ending then? Because you didn't know what happened.
I felt like it was kind of like passing the torch, as it were.
There are a lot of episodes of Haunting Hour that have endings like that, where
Hmm.
someone's in a situation and then they're like, "Oh, I tricked
But
you. Now you've got to do this job."
But at the same time, I thought it was too easy to pass him over to the other kid, because the kid was like, "Oh, hi, my name's this," and he's like, "Too late now, sucker." You know what I mean? It's just like
I would have turned it. I wouldn't
even replied.
If
I've
I-
just gone, "Hi."
Oh yeah, but if I was,
I wouldn't even said my name.
if I got to that point where I was stupid enough to reply, I would have turned him and gone, "That kid over there, he's hurt me. Go kill him." And the robot would have killed him at least. You go, "Hello, Philip. You're dead now." Sorry, anyone called Philip who's watching, but what would you have done in that situation as Tim? What would you have done, James, in that situation if you were Tim?
Well, I was thinking as well, like, because he was mentioned about how like the power switch is like in the chest. So in the bit just before like he rebooted back up, I would have just gone like straight for the chest and like turned the power thing back off straight, because there was like a bit where he was turned off. Like I would have just ran for it, but yeah, I guess in that situation, just try and find someone else called, I don't know, Steve maybe, and then get him to do the static thing, and then to swap it over to Steve.
Steve. Hi, Steve.
So hi to
Oh.
Sibby. I don't know if anyone else has any comments or questions about this episode. I did this one first because there's more to talk about with the second episode.
I like the second one.
Oh, you've seen the second one?
No, well,
You've seen some of it, because I kind of
the
watched.
the one that you're going to mention.
I don't think I've linked it in the chat, but there's like, I don't know if it's an official one or someone's put it together. It looks official. Just a YouTube channel with all the episodes, like 100 and so odd episodes. So I watch these all the time on like repeat. But if no one's got any questions about that, we'll talk about spores. I don't know if you're the same, and I did mention this before, James, but I hate the fact it's called spores. Even though it becomes apparent later on, I kind of felt like it's almost like just telling you what's happening. I don't know how you felt.
Well, I think the bigger problem was as well is that the thumbnail on YouTube literally shows like the dad at the end of it. And so, like, I already kind of knew where that was going. And yeah, as you say, like with the name Spores as well, you can kind of see where that's going. But at least with like just the name of it, you can kind of, it could go maybe a couple of ways with it. But when you literally see like on the thumbnail exactly what's going to happen, yeah, it kind of does ruin the surprise at the end.
Sibby's bought a platinum pot. Have you got a special one with a picture on, Sibby? That's what I was going to ask you when you posted it. Ben says the robot reminds him of something. Probably welding, like Andy mentioned.
I thought when you get
episode Octave. The second episode is more interesting, I think.
Ooh,
oh,
we
he's
got
got
an
another this one.
Yeah, I got
How
it.
much
Yeah,
is the top grade? Is it only platinum that can do that?
No, I think it's platinum and gold, but I got mine from Alton Towers, but they don't have the lanyard and the pop badges anymore, so it's just the card, which for the whole thing it was £15, but because I just got the card, it was £10. So I mean, not too bad because it is that limited edition. So, yeah.
That's quite good actually. Well, there's other stuff in the comments as well going on.
It's about Hyperia.
Oh, thought you tuned into an episode of Doctor Who there, Sibby. Well, we should have offered jelly babies at this episode then, shouldn't we, if that's the case?
But the next episode is called Spores.
Either that or drink some carrot juice, either way.
What I like about this one, and I'm guilty of it in a way because I put something in the thumbnail for this podcast about what actually happens. But the thing I like about this episode is it follows. I don't know if it's an exact science because I don't think it's happened in real life, but it's something that almost could happen with the they're called quadriceps, that parasite. It's very similar to The Last of Us. Anyway, that's why I like it.
See,
very similar.
I
like the science
watched the
thing
episode, but I didn't see the title or hear of the title. So I kind of sat in on it going, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was this? And then he's like, actually, that's what it is. And I'm like, oh,
Did you get a new...
okay.
Andy's asking if you get a new pass number.
I can try, because the problem is they take your old pass. That means you get swapped over to a new one. So I'll just have to check if I can remember the pass number. I genuinely don't know. That's the pass number I used to have, so maybe I'm not sure. But it's like the same photo and everything, and like the same kind of expiry date and stuff like that. So I'm assuming it's the same number. I don't know though.
I'll play.
That's insane if you know your number off by heart as well on the annual pass.
I'll play the intro anyway because this starts with Melvin. He's like the youngest in his family. He's a bit, I wouldn't say outcast a lot, but he's a bit outcast compared to the rest of them, and they're going on a camping trip. But I'll play the first one.
I'm not going in there.
Yes, you are. This trip was booked a year in advance. The campsites are private, reserved, and non-refundable. You've wasted our time, Melvin. Now you want to waste our money too?
They're just trying to boot him out.
Two things.
Like,
I thought it sounded like
woods,
there were monkeys in that forest, and also
I
why?
thought crazy parrot.
Apologies to anyone who has this name, but why would you call your son Melvin? Seems a bit of an odd name. I don't know what you thought about that, James.
Oddly enough, the name Melvin wasn't the first thing on my mind. And I think the main first thing, it was probably just how awful the dad was. Like straight away, I was just like, he deserves to go. Like just at any point. Yeah, it's kind of like when we reviewed the one last time, like with the kid, like the one who played Rowley from Diver Wimpy Kid. It's like, he literally just deserves to go straight away. Like I have no sympathy whatsoever. Same with the dad in this. Just
I can't remember if I've got this with audio or not, but I just because I love the intro. Just that bit. I love that bit of the intro where the shadow knocks 30 off the. It's not relevant to the episode today, but I think it's awesome. If no one's seen The Haunting Hour, I recommend watching it on YouTube at some point. Bill and Ted vibes. Melvin, he's quite cool in this episode.
Yeah.
I think you have to upgrade the pass after you bought. I don't think you can buy it with the big trunk, can you? You have to pay the extra.
Yeah, I think there was originally like a run of passes that you could get that you could buy, but now these ones are specifically for the renewals. So I'm not sure if they're still doing the brand new ones, but they did have like a window of time where they did do that. So.
Yeah, the episodes of The Haunting Hour, just changing the subject. I do quite like the music and the emphasis behind things.
So the actual episode starts out with him in this car, and he's somehow got himself locked in there. He doesn't want to open it, and you kind of don't get told what's wrong with him at first. I think he's agoraphobic, but it never comes across like that. He's more germophobic, isn't he? He's very germophobic.
I think,
doesn't want to go in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just that he more like kind of does a lot of research as well, because like a part in the episode where like his brother and sister are kind of like teasing him about like basically whether he's adopted or not, and then they ask, oh, you should maybe do like a DNA test, and then he says he has. So it almost feels like he kind of overthinks a lot of stuff and kind of is very kind of scientifically minded in a way.
I've got a few more clips specifically about this next bit, so I'm gonna play them.
Literally thousands of things in there. Things that you can't even see with the naked eye that can kill you. Lyme disease, brown recluse spiders. It's hemlock season. Is any of this getting through to you people? You're about to step foot in a primeval death trap.
Basically, he hates camping. And does not like nature.
I'm probably not going to play that clip again. But right at the end of that, there was a bin like the bins I want towers in the background. But it's one thing I didn't think about. I'm thinking about now. We're talking about it is, given that something sinister happens later on, which the name kind of gives away anyway. When he said you had to book like a year in advance, do you reckon somehow this was set up by someone to get them there? It's never explained.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, the first thing when you say that is possibly like the park warden, maybe, or something like that, because he's kind of like an ever-present.
Yeah, it's not him. He's quite a creepy guy. I'll play one of those.
Well, I am not going to let us lose to Bill Needleman. I told him it was game on.
No! You startled me.
Sorry about that. I tend to tread lightly. Sort of my ethos.
So what did you think about him? Ethos. You say route, I say route, stuff like that. What did you think about the park keeper then, when you first saw him? Did you?
I mean, I assumed he was probably going to be the villain, but it's kind of like, in a way, kind of almost kind of like what they do in Scooby-Doo, in a way where it's like they kind of give you someone who's going to be like the obvious villain, and then they don't actually. I mean, he's kind of the villain-ish right at the end, but yeah, he's kind of like not the main one. It's kind of a slight misdirect in that way.
Without
Yeah, kind of
giving away
very.
Without giving away too much, do you think he's normal right now, as opposed to what he's like
Ooh,
later on?
yeah, an interesting
I don't know if
question. I
he's
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess he probably is. I mean, because otherwise, I feel like either he would have like infected them straight away, would have felt like a little bit more possessed in a way, because I feel like they have a little bit more kind of like possessed way of talking when they are. But yes, yeah, but it could go either way. To be fair.
I've got another clip that I labelled as Keeper Creepy, so I'm going to play that.
We lost contact with a few hikers this week. Set out from here last Friday and are taking their time coming back.
Do you think we're going to find those hikers?
Keep sneaking and drinking, sorry.
Well, I imagine possibly the hikers are when you get up to the end, there's kind of more victims around, so maybe they were the ones that were already hiking.
Because I don't know if he's already infected, but the parasite's making him act like that to lure them in.
Yeah, maybe.
We're going to see later on, everyone who gets infected kind of ends up in the same place, apart from this guy.
See, I kind of thought, is it a bit like with mycelium sort of stuff, where there's like a root, and obviously the root would be
sort of like
the
that.
people, because the people are connected to the ground. This sounds ridiculous, but like you get roots in a tree, they grow underground. Maybe it's the other way around, and obviously because we're walking on the earth, they're probably using them as like a way to connect to get more people in. You know what I mean? It's
next time we review a couple of episodes of this show, we'll get
Not
you in,
that I know
Sibby.
my
But
mushrooms.
these are all on YouTube. There's an official Haunting Hour YouTube. The thumbnail is like, well, it's a bit like the logo in the top corner there, but Haunting Hour is written in green. You can't miss it. But it's a decent show. It's like Goosebumps, but it's for like teenagers, and it always has a bad ending. It's never a good ending. That's the difference.
You'll like it, Sibby. Actually,
it's really good.
For a little laugh.
There are some episodes. There are some episodes where you spend the whole episode just going, I just want to know what the twist is, and then you kind of get it wrong. But it's like sometimes it's better than what you expect, and sometimes
I have to do a watch along one night, like on Zoom or something.
So I've got some clips without sound, so we could talk over them. But they end up going into the forest anyway. Massive redwood forest, I assume.
Heartwood. Sorry.
So I've got some more clips. Oh yeah, this is where this is the first kind of the spores. The mum gets infected first. They seem to get like this weird kind of euphoria. I don't know if it's a reference, like a metaphor for drug use.
Possible. I mean, I kind of found that a little bit creepy in a way, that it kind of almost kind of like possesses them like that and kind of makes them feel that kind of more kind of happiness. And I mean, maybe it's because the spores have now kind of possessed their mind, which means the spores are happy in a way, so that makes them kind of act more happy, possibly.
Oh yeah, we'll put a spoiler warning out if Ben's still watching as well, because I ran some of these episodes past the Joneses before, and I think they're a bit too mature for the last two we watched. We're a bit too mature for Darcy, so in case Ben's watching and he thinks about showing them to Holly, like watch them yourself first, and you can assess it.
Approve it, yeah. I think. I mean, this sounds silly because I know this makes me sound horrible. Like I really am into mushrooms. For me,
what?
It's just for me. I've got the knowledge of the spores. There is certain mushrooms that do have stronger spores and stronger effects on people. So it's just like, for me, I was just like, oh, I said, oh, that must be a really strong shroom. You know what I mean? That's what I thought straight away. But
someone's going to clip that audio and you're going to regret saying that.
I am going to regret everything.
I think Melvin mentions.
I'll clip it.
I will leave now.
I think Melvin mentions at one point there. Is it quadriceps or quadriceps? I can't remember what the word, how you pronounce it, but it's the parasite. It's the same parasite that they say is in The Last of Us, and that's why they kind of look like the clickers later on.
Yeah.
But that I was just into it because of that. As soon as he mentions that, I think it was at the start, and it wasn't in one of the clips I used, but he does mention that they had taken over.
Holly does scare mazes. Pretty sure she'd be fine with it. Starts the other hand. It's nearly as bad as me. We're hoping to do scare mazing this year as well. The more I watch these things, I'm like,
to be fair,
I really want to do
Andy
them
does
again.
Starfly, so Andy's getting braver, I think.
Yeah.
So the mum gets infected, and then she just kind of... She doesn't disappear straight away, does she? She disappears in the middle of the night. When they wake up.
Yeah.
Before that.
Yeah. I think it's. Oh no, it is in the day, yeah, because she goes like off to the loo at the side, and I don't think she comes back after that, and then because like kind of round the campfire, I think, and then kind of they say they're going to go and look for her in the morning, possibly, if I remember right.
So they just start shouting for her, and
is the cover even on that tent on the left?
I think we mentioned that the brother and sister, the brother and sister don't really like Melvin either, do they? They keep kind of saying he's adopted, and they keep pretending they can read each other's minds. I remember when I watched this, I thought, I don't think he's related, but his older brother actually looked like, you watch people in a family in a TV show, and you're like, they've obviously got a bunch of actors together. But I thought the dad looked like he could have been the dad of the oldest son. They kind of looked in the face a bit similar. I know it sounds really weird, but when I was watching it, it was one of those things that stood out. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty convincing. Oh, don't say Starflyer. Is there another Starflyer in the UK that's not built by like fairgrounds? Like there's that a place you can go all year round at the same place. I don't know. Saw film's all right.
I watched the first one. I knew the ending already within like
yeah, but you watched the second one and you thought
minutes.
It was brilliant. You thought the second one was brilliant.
I do think they're really good, but that's just my opinion. I still need to go through the others though.
You sort of know what happens at the end of this, so I don't know if it's worth asking you so far what your opinion is of the one's got infected and she's gone missing. You already know what happens at the end, so I don't know what I can ask you about it, really.
I just thought this woman must be mad as a box of frogs with all this shroom stuff and gone again. That's what I thought.
To be fair,
I had a bit of a laugh about it.
I know an Italian plumber that likes shrooms, so...
I said, does she... I did actually turn around at one point saying, does she come back and she, like... is like a witch or something?
It's interesting you mentioned that.
You know what I mean? Just crazy things
because then
like
they're
that.
talking and she appears. But she's like sort of possessed. She can't actually see them. Because Melvin starts blaming the dad. He's going, this is your fault. We shouldn't have come here. And then the dad goes mental at him, obviously. And then that happens.
But because I didn't know the title, I thought she had like a spell put on her that she can't see anyone. So I was going down the sort of a bit of a witchcraft route at first.
There's a lot of episodes in this that are kind of metaphors for drugs. Thinking back to the ice cream one last time. So I don't know.
Don't do them.
Like I say, I think the title of the episode ruins it, but I don't know if you want to say what you were thinking the first time you watched it, James, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, from seeing the thumbnail, I assumed some of them were going to go like Last of Us and get like really infected by spores. Like, yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was going to go.
Do you think it's going to be people behind it like a cult, or did you just think it was going to be plants all the way?
Oh no, I thought plants all the way, but I didn't think it was going to go like as kind of dark as it did in a way. Like I didn't think it was going to infect as many people as it did. I thought it was only going to be maybe because in the thumbnail it shows like the dad infected, and so I thought that.
Oh, I showed the mum infected.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that one as well. Yeah, but yeah. So I thought it might just be maybe like the parents or the adults, but yeah, I didn't think it was going to go much further than that.
But then the dad. They go back to the tents for another night, and then the dad kind of wanders off and gets... I didn't get it in that clip. He has that face where he's in the throes of ecstasy again because he's breathing the spores. And it's really weird. Just so they have the spores in the air, and they have them breathe them in and have this like really happy look on their face. But just in case, I'll play that clip again. And they did it with the mum as well. They make sure there's a massive clump of it on their shoulder so you can go, oh yeah, spores.
Oh yeah,
they did that with the mum as well. They're like on one of her sleeves.
A bit of powder paint.
But the dad doesn't actually disappear. The dad goes back, and then the next day they decide to go up the mountain, and then they say, "No, you're crazy. We're gonna go." Because the dad, I'll play a clip in a minute, but the dad kind of goes a bit greyish green in his skin, doesn't he? But he's not turning into anything. And then they say, look, this is crazy, we're going to go back. And all 3 kids are agreed on this. And then, like, because the dad's just on a mission. He wants to get to Lookout Point still. He looks kind of green there.
He's very green. I found it very weird that the kids weren't more alarmed at him being green. Like, he's literally like going Shrek, and they're just like still talking to him normally.
It's the fact he was acting so weird as well.
Yeah, and that.
But I don't know if it's worth asking you at this point.
I at first thought, oh my god, is he turning into a Smurf? And then I thought, wait a minute, is it anything to do with like, because I didn't know the name was Spores, just to really emphasize that. I genuinely thought was, oh my gosh, did the Woods done like a spell on, just because of the dust on the shoulders, as the Woods cast a spell on the people, but do they not like the people visiting the Woods? And so they're just like, okay.
Just to interject, there are many other episodes involving woods and spells of this show. In case, just to intrigue everyone, there are actually quite a lot of other episodes set in woods that are actually have spells in and stuff. So it's funny you said that.
I like that kind of stuff, though.
Where do you think it was going at this point, James? Because he almost seemed like he was going to get violent. The dad.
Yeah, I just assumed he was probably just going to get worse and worse, and then I kind of did assume that he was going to kind of find the mother as well. I didn't realize that there'd be, again, kind of like so many other victims that had already taken in a way. Like, I just kind of assumed that this had only started at this point, but yeah, we kind of find out that there's kind of other ones.
We'll take a look. This isn't the very end. There's still actually more after this, but we'll take a look at Lookout Point, and people in the comments can say how good they think the effects are.
Huh?
Dad?
Mommy? The Lost Tigers!
What the heck is going on?
What's happening to them?
Did like that.
I actually thought the effect, the practical effects on those people was like the best bit, and it was a shame that they don't move or get involved other than that scene. Really, I don't know what you thought about
that. Yeah, I mean, as someone who did like a special effects course, then yeah, they look really good. And I think surprisingly, I was surprised by how scary they looked for like what is essentially more of kind of like a more kid, or at least like a younger audience in a way. Yeah, it was. I think the CG has become a little bit dated. It doesn't look like awful in a way, but I think the practical effects, look surprisingly good for this.
Because I assumed when they got there, because they're all looking in a certain direction, I thought there was going to be some big plant leading everything. Well, there probably is somewhere, but there wasn't like a centerpiece or anything. They were just all at Lookout Point. I'm guessing they slowly get digested. I don't know. I'm trying to work out what.
I'd love to know what they used for the effects with the spore coming out the mouth, because you're so used to seeing like fake blood and things like that in like
I think
other
that was
horror
real,
films.
like dust, wasn't it?
But I do wonder
like
if it's,
sugar.
It might be like a herb, might be sherbet, it might be a herb
Turmeric.
or something, and they're just blowing it out. But I thought that was really good. The fact that they kept that.
Simi doesn't like the effects. I thought
You
the
don't like
practical
the
ones were good.
effects.
I don't think the CGI ones
I
were
thought
good, but I thought the practical were good.
the lady that had the spores like down this side, I thought it was like a headband with the actual effect on. Like in my head, that's what I thought in a practical mind.
I thought it was called the guy who opened his eyes, and then his eyes looked, but his body couldn't move.
Yeah.
It
I
looked
do
like
think
just a
they
big
remind
beard
me
on.
of the crows, actually, a little like scarecrows a bit. The other guys as well. And I thought that's quite cool.
I haven't seen the cornstalking episode of this
moths as
program. There is a scarecrow episode of this program, but I've not seen it. But because there is more to this episode, I don't know if you want to comment more on what we've seen so far before we go on. People at home will be like, "That's not the end."
So, Sibby, would you not be scared by the characters? Just saying.
I think Sibby would in a scare
Far
maze.
on with Blade, but not aged well at all.
Oh, yeah.
The way Blade's the film that he picks.
Do you know
For
what?
CGI.
I fucking love.
That's about on
I
par
love
with
Blade, and I love the clubbing scene. I thought
Oh yeah, I used to love because it's called Confusion. I can't remember the group who does it. And they used to play it in X.
Yeah.
And I used to go, they're playing the Blade song. And we used to just party in the queue line.
I used to love that.
And they changed to Walking Dead and no one likes it anymore. But I like Blade 1. I don't think they need to make 2 or 3, although I think 3 is better than 2.
Have you seen
but
the
like
series?
Back to the Future. No, I've not seen the series. But I also think the third Back to the Future is the best as well. But as I was asking James, was there anything you wanted to say about this episode so far?
I mean, the only other thing I could kind of think of was with the brother and the sister. Let's just say, with the kind of interactions they had, they definitely didn't seem like brother and sister. Like, I think it would have been better more like if they were kind of like, one of them was like the son or the daughter and the other one was like a partner, because it feels just like the way they were interacting felt very... I mean, maybe it's just because I'm just like used to having siblings where I don't get on with them, but they just got on together a bit too well, I felt like.
And then it seemed like they were pretending to read each other's mind at the start of the show to get to Melvin. And then when I've not got the clip of it here, but they both start turning. And then they kind of can actually, it's almost like a hive mind, where it's just one and they can read each other's minds. And I was surprised Melvin hadn't breathed any of the spores yet, because it seemed really odd that he was there and it's like he's managed to escape it.
And the fact that he was able to get back so easily as well, like, just felt a bit weird.
Do you think he's got those little nose filters that stop with like hay fever or something? No one can see them.
Funnily enough, Sibby, the very first episode of this show is a 2-parter, and it's got a doll that looks very real. And I think there's no blood there, but I think that would scare you, Sibby, I think. I didn't know Dusk Till Dawn was a vampire film the first time I watched it. It was brilliant. I've ruined that for anyone who's not seen it, but if you go into that film not knowing it's a horror film, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But I don't think this has got sound, so we can talk over it. But this is what happens. Oh yeah, I have got it then. I'll put it at the start of this bit. So the sister starts turning, and then so does the brother. And then Melvin's like, I can still outrun these spores because I'm a super little kid. He's dressed like Wally a bit, isn't he?
I literally thought that, yeah.
I genuinely thought.
And this is the end.
Yeah.
All that running, and then he's just like, nah. The way he goes at the end there reminds me of when you see like a cold and flu advert when he takes.
Yeah, when you get that sort of situation. Yeah.
It did feel like that was a bit lackluster compared to he'd managed to avoid everything and he knew about it. Then when his parents got caught, he ran away. His siblings got caught by it. He runs away. And then weird thing, it took him like, didn't they say it takes 5 days to get up there? They might have said they made it in 3 and they made good time. I can't remember, but I remember thinking this when I watched it before. He makes it back quite quick. It seems like he's just run back to the car in like 10 minutes.
You know what I thought would be funny is if he turned into a gnome just because of how baggy the back of the cat was. Just like a little fishing rod and just sat on the.
But yeah, he ran back apparently a 5-day trail quite quick. And for anyone who's not seen it, that's why we were referring to the keeper at the start. I think he might have been infected the whole time. I don't know what you think.
But yeah, now you've just mentioned that, that is like a massive plot hole with it, because like even if you were just like counting like them setting up camp and stuff, it still would have taken longer than that like period of time. Like he wouldn't have just been able to run back down. So yeah, that is a very weird. That kind of like completely ruins the episode for me now in a way.
Oh, sorry. Where would you rate this? If we talk about quickly, if no one's seen it, we talked about it a little while ago. We talked about an episode called Chasing Cold and The Flight. Just of these 4, how would you rate them from like your favourite of the 4 to how would they rate?
I think possibly that Chasing Cold one would probably be the top one. I think that's one's just kind of like, it does the horror the best, I think, and it's kind of the most fun one in a way. Then I'd probably say Spores, because again, a lot of like the really good kind of practical horror and stuff like that. Then probably My Robot and Flight, I think. Like I think in that order.
I'd probably put it the same. I'd probably put Robot under Flight, but I liked Flight because I just thought it was a bit. Flight was weird because I've said this about Haunting Hour. They all end badly. I think The Flight is the only one that kind of has a happy ending. Sort of. I don't want to give away what happens in case Sibby wants to watch
I
it.
might get all deep and meaningful, but I quite like. I'd put Robot One at the bottom one of mine.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And I'd put it like more like Flight.
What, the top?
Spores as like my top 2, just because I find it interesting how like Mother Nature can give, but it can also take away, and that's scary. That's a scary thought, to be honest, and that's how I see it as. But
what are your thoughts
I can get deep and meaningful and scary, but I'm not that scary, honest.
What are your thoughts
in
on
my
the whole
mind,
episode?
That's what I see it as.
On the whole episode, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think I was kind of surprised by like how much darker that it actually went. Like, you know, obviously the other ones have like elements of certain like little dark bits. I think with this one, it kind of went the most for me in a way. I think just with like the fact that no one really makes it out of it alive. Like, I think at least like in some of the other ones, like it was either like in the Catching Cold one, the kid deserved it, or as you said in Flight, like again the kid gets out of it fine. And with the Robot one, again, at least it gets passed over, but at least, like, you know, other kids survive. Like with this, like everyone's gone. And I think it's kind of so horrific with the spores and stuff that, yeah, it kind of like, yes, it surprised me that it went that far for what is, I would have thought, like more kind of like a younger audience in a way.
I think there are some episodes with clowns in. I've not seen. I know there's at least one because I've seen the thumbnail
Is it the one with the theme park?
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, that's Are You Afraid of the Dark,
No.
where he steals the cigars off the clown. But
Oh, sorry.
Haunting Hour, there is one with clowns because I've seen the thumbnail, but I've not watched that one yet. I think I might have been a bit scared of clowns when I was a kid, but I feel really desensitized to it. Like whenever we go to like Screamfest or something like that, when they've had clown mazes, I'm like, oh, here we go. Let's do this one first because it's just going to be the same as. I don't know. A bit off topic, I guess. But what do you think about clown scare mazes? I think they're a bit. I don't know. I think they're a bit too much. Like I'm desensitized. I can see the scariness of it, but it doesn't get. It's like I've experienced it too much. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, the thing, I've never really done like a classic circus maze. Like, unfortunately, I missed out on like Carnival of Screams, and, like the Big Top and stuff like that. So the only ones I've done are like Freak Show Toxic Junkyard, which is very kind of clown adjacent in a way. It's more kind of like freaks and stuff like that. And then the other one's Freak Out on Tour at Screamfest, where but the thing is, that's kind of like a burnt down version of it. And so it's not really like that. I'd love to do one that's actually like the proper classic, like Big Top circus maze to get a real good idea of that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they were kind of like both fun ones, but yeah, not necessarily as threatening in a way with them.
Saying that, I remember one time at Screamfest, I was at the back, and the clown was just tickling me, and I was just laughing. And I was like, no, he's tickling me.
I think there was a group of us, and some of us were laughing louder as well, just because you were being tickled. But yeah. So
I want to know if Sibby struggles with the spider in The Curse. Or is that too cartoony?
I think we should do an episode about phobias and just randomly come out with phobias and then see if anyone comes out with anything. And I'm not saying we're here just to scare you either. We're not going to put it against you, whatever you're scared of, but just as like an eye opener, really, because there's quite a lot of things that people.
I don't think I've got a phobia.
And I find it so interesting.
Like, I try to think, and I can't think of something I'm scared of, but it's like, I don't know, if someone ran at me with a syringe, I'd be like, yeah, don't stab me, I'm going to leg it. But I'm not got a fear of like needles or anything. You know, like I've not got a fear of heights, but if you didn't have a parachute on my back and you kind of leave me out of a window of a plane, I'd be like, yeah, that's terrifying. But I wouldn't say I've got a phobia of.
I wouldn't do that, but yeah.
So, I mean, I'm trying to think of something that scares me. I don't think I've got any phobias.
It's like, look at me going, don't do it, please. Simi was having a shave from the mirror this morning because spider ran down the mirror.
I might have to do Dr. Frights. The thing with the scare mazes is I'm very aware that I'm in, like, jump scares will make me go, but I'm very aware that I think what broke it for me was that time we got evac from Cabin in the Woods.
Insomnia. Oh, Cabin in the Woods, yeah. Oh,
and that kind of just, all lights came on and all the actors broke character. And ever since then, I'm like, I'm very aware it's in their best interest that I'm safe. So they never actually get, and I'm kind of aware of that the whole time. I'm like, they're actually hoping that I'm safe.
I can't remember if I was in the cushion room then. I can't remember where I was.
No, we're at the end.
Working one.
We were at the end because we managed to blag and get back in, even though we were right near the exit. So we'd done the maze, and they were like, "Oh, you got evac, go back through then."
So yeah, but we'll have to talk about that another time. But I won't mind going scare mazes again, just to.
We'll have to get
So we've actually tried.
Andy on
we
a
missed
scare
out
maze
last
at some
year.
point.
I got
Andy
really poorly last year, so I think.
I think
that's
Andy
why
from
we missed out.
Scaring with the Joneses. I think Andy from Ghosts with the Joneses would like Scare Maze if he went on one, but he's a bit scared to go on one first. I think he'd like it. See, Scarefest is easy.
You be in the middle. Some of us be at the front.
I've not done Fright Nights. I've not done Fright Nights in a while, but I always feel like the theme parks, compared to the actual scare parks, it's like, yeah, these are people that are putting on a scare event that don't usually do it, whereas they do it every year. But when you go to a Scream Park, it's like, this is what they do.
I personally think I'd be more freaked out if I went, no offense to anyone speaking a different language at all, but if I go abroad and not understand a word they're saying and then they're just yelling stuff at me.
Plus, the laws are different, so they're allowed to hurt you.
You know, I wouldn't have a clue.
Especially if you go to...
I'd freak out, probably.
What was the name of that city?
Because The Ring freaked me out when I watched that in Japanese.
That city in Poland where they used to taser.
No English subtitles.
Where was it? Where David Blythe went and he came on the show and he told us about... It was somewhere in Poland. I think it began with a K.
Yeah, Poland, yeah.
And he went to a scare maze, Sibby, and...
Not Krakow.
Yeah, it might have been Krakow, actually. He went to a scare maze and they used tasers and you had to sign whether you wanted, like, red, yellow or green extreme, because, like... And apparently the most extreme one, they just tie someone up to the wall and just taser them constantly. Yeah, I'd like to see Sibby. I'm surprised Sibby doesn't hit people when he's in there. I can imagine him getting... By the way, James is like, yeah, I know Sibby.
Just imagine him putting his...
No, because Sibby kind of is quite jumpy. I can imagine he just, like... First ever scare maze I did, someone hit.
I was just thinking about like all the people that I've just like heard about who've been like. I remember I had a college tutor when I did my graphic design course who I think she was Elsie Hamble in The Boiler House, and she played like one of the wraiths in the 13 area. And she said that she got punched by someone one time. It's just like it's just such a common occurrence nowadays that that happens. So.
It's so bad though. It shouldn't be. They should get like a bit of extra pay if that happens. You know. You know, we'll get on the blower to Bianca and go, you're going to sort this out.
Just cutting the outfits.
I would love to interview Bianca and ask her about what happens. You know, you're going to make sure these actors are safe. Just see what she says.
Be interesting. Anyone want to talk about anything else that's spooky?
Before we wrap it up,
yeah. I was thinking while we're in the spooky mood. Are you going to do anything spooky anyway, James?
What, recently?
You've been doing a recent podcast.
Yes, there has been. Yeah, fancy you mentioned that. Yeah, there was new Scare Seekers that came out kind of like earlier this week where we just catch up because it's been so long since the last episode. Hopefully we can get them out a little bit more regularly. It'll probably be like every month or so, I'd imagine. But yeah, that's a fun one, and also possibly a spooky video coming out next, which is like nearly 3 hours. So that's a fun edit. I'm about a third of the way through it so far. But yeah, it's got some scare related stuff. So
have you got any scare events before Halloween season or not?
Nothing planned at the moment. I know this. I think during Scare Seekers, definitely going to be Scarefest a couple of times. Tully's Shocktoberfest, which was booked from last year, which I'm very excited about. I mean, unless if I'm possibly going to do Pass Arsal Terror at some point, I don't know anything I've specifically got, but yeah, I'm more than open to at any point.
Oh, this one says, do you guys think the new Top Spin at Towers will be open this season?
Hopefully.
I think they could do it, but I'd prefer it if they didn't. It'd be nice to just have it next to it. It's really weird, right? Because I don't like seeing stuff. This is going to sound really odd, and people are going to be at me about this, but apart from Ben and Coaster for the Joneses and Coaster Dan, I think there's a couple of others, I don't watch any other theme park content because I don't like seeing stuff. Like, if I had my way, I wouldn't hear anything about Hyperia or anything, and I'd just go ride it. I'm very much like, I don't want to know what I'm getting for Christmas. Thanks. I'm fine not knowing.
You don't want to be spoiled. Like, any
but I'm not even like,
in a way.
I'm not even curious. I'm not going out of my way, and then people are like, did you know Hyperia killed this person and Smiler chopped this person's leg off? Well, I don't really want to know that, please. But
you don't want to be spoiled by it at the same time. It's like
15
you don't want to seem
time.
unsupportive.
I'd love it not to be a top spin. I'd love it then to go, we've put all these things in place so you think, because it's like, I don't think the video's online anymore, it wouldn't be, but I remember talking about that I'm sure he won't mind me saying it, but Sandbrook put a video up before 13 was built going, I've got my sources revealed. And the whole video, the premise was, it was about a minute long. And he just was hyping up and went, the new people building the new ride, SW6, are B&M. And as soon as Intamin came out, it was like, video's taken down. I always remember that when people talk about like rides and what they're going to be. It was brilliant. I wish people wouldn't tell me how good Hyperia is, because now I'm thinking, I feel like to do with Hyperia, I wish people hadn't told me, oh yeah, it's amazing, because now I'm expecting too much. But also,
I'm not expecting much, if I'm quite honest. But you know, I know it's taller,
with Hyperia. If anyone ever, even ironically, it's not a Mac coaster, but it's at Europa Park. If anyone ever goes to Europa Park and has ridden Hyperia first, even though I think it might be taller than the Silver Star, I think a lot of people will prefer Silver Star to Hyperia. Like, I've not been on Hyperia, but I bet when I ride it, I'll go, Silver Star's a lot better. Silver Star's, you've seen it. It's the one with the lap bar that's just between your legs like that. And it's not like that. It's like, that was brilliant, that ride. But I think Hyperia will be all right. I think also in Europa Park, Blue Fire has a lot more hang time in the inversions, because people, I kind of criticised the hang time when I saw Hyperia, but apparently that's a good thing to have hang time.
It would be funny if they worked with the council to troll people to believing it's a top spin.
That would be great.
Could they not pay extra and have like the council put NDAs on stuff so they can't leak it? I don't know, because people have to kind of complain about it and stuff, but
whereabouts are they putting it? Where
it's where Ripsaw was.
Ripsaw, yeah.
But it's kind of like, I hope it's not a top spin.
I'm in the loop here.
I think it is a top spin, but I'm hoping it's not, because somewhere along the line you have to say, if someone is still working there who was involved with getting rid of Ripsaw, the fact we've partied around with the facts, is that HB Leisure or whatever, put a little side game there and other stuff, and then we've just gone, you know what, all these years later, let's just put a top spin back. It's just like somewhere in that chain of events, someone screwed up big time. It's like if they got rid of Nemesis and then 10 years went, oh, we've done enough of this space. Yeah, but let's put another Nemesis back.
Do you reckon they might have listened to us as well? Because we talked a lot about top spin with the previous ones. I think they might.
I think, no, because it's like with Wicker Man. Wardley used to complain for years that Alton Towers would not put a Woody coaster in because they didn't think it was marketable. And Wardley said that, and he was annoyed with Alton Towers. But eventually they built one.
But, yeah, they fed the flames on that one, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try it with open mind. That's if hopefully I'll go this year. I've not been in 10 years, have I? Neither of you.
No.
We'll have to go with Sibby.
We haven't
I think
been.
Sibby will find it funny.
Maybe we could do a 10-year run round. 10-year rerun.
Do you want to say? Yeah, we haven't been since before the first Ghost Train was there, so we never got to ride that.
Yeah, 10 years. And we went when Cabin in the Woods was first there, wasn't it? And
when it was last there,
yeah. So we've been, when we lived down.
You had a scare act to step on your foot, and then we got compensated with like free lunch.
But the customer service was awesome at Thorpe Park. I've got to admit, it was brilliant. And they were so nice about it. So,
is there anything else you want to say about this?
I'm not dissing them in
these
any way.
episodes.
They managed it really well. Sorting holiday clothes out. Ooh, nice. Where are you going on holiday to?
Did you want to say anything about these episodes before we wrap stuff up?
All I want to watch more episodes of different haunting ones.
There is a YouTube channel. We'll watch more. There are some good ones.
Seriously though, get the doll one. It's awesome. Get the doll one next. Watch the doll one. The doll one.
There's something I want to say about the doll one, but I don't want to ruin it for Sibby because I think Sibby will watch it.
Watch the doll one.
Yeah, the doll one's good.
So, I'm planning a Thorpe Park trip, so definitely be up for a joint trip. Yay! Go for it. You can. Why car share? We could car share. Woohoo! That'd be quite cool. Sorry, I'm getting rather excited. So that'd be cool.
I mean, the reason I've not been to Thorpe in 10 years is because it's never interested me enough to go back. I mean, the first 2 or 3 years of that 10 years I've not been, we actually lived a lot closer, and we would just always went to Legoland or Chessington, didn't we?
We literally made it all
in fact, the last time we ever went to Thorpe Park, we left at lunchtime and went to Legoland.
But there is a few rides that have always been closed when I've been there, and I actually would like to go back and make them my first ever time going over those rides. So it'd be worth going
we'll go
to do
back.
them.
And there's some
if they're
decent
open.
looking merch there. But
So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to say about these episodes, James, or anything else you want to plug on the show.
Just very, very spooky episodes. Yeah, done. There we go.
Next time we have James on, I'll let him pick the episodes.
Sure.
Because I've always picked the episodes. I've not seen them all, but like I say, there are a lot of episodes like the robot one where like someone's in a position and at the end, oh, you have to take over now, like with Catching Cold, or I think it's actually called Video Game or something. There's a video game one where he faces someone stuck in the game, but then when he beats him, he has to take his place, and it's like it happens a lot, that storyline, just in different ways.
I think just to let you know as well, my photography challenge is the last 2 days, and the prompt is wood. There is a new one next month, but I can't think off the top of my head what it is right now. So I will have to just share it on my stories in a bit. So, but yeah, it will soon change to another one. Oh,
what I will say,
go back to Hyperia.
People have been saying they're getting withdrawals from Hyperia, and I feel like these people, like Ben, if Ben ever gets out to like Europe and stuff, I think he's going to get withdrawals about their coasters because when you get out there, you realise that we've got really shoddy stuff. Like, but Hyperia looks good, but I don't know what's wrong with it. Should Thorpe have told us what's wrong with it? Yeah, they won't. That's it. That's all I can say. I do like the fact that I can't remember his name for the life of me, and I know James messaged me about it because I made an issue about it before. But Bianca's counterpart at Thorpe was at that ceremony, and maybe he's saw what Bianca's doing and going, do you know what? I'm going to get my face out there. And I feel like Thorpe Park, for as bad as they are when they're bad at stuff, that ceremony was like, it felt like they just opened Nemesis Reborn at Towers and went, no ceremony, even though everyone's expecting to just open it. And then, you want to open a ride? Hold my beer. And Thorpe Park just go, hold my beer. And just have this. And it was pretty decent, I thought. There was a lot of over-sentimental stuff about flying and stuff like that didn't need to be there, but having the ride go around and like the not fireworks, but it was like sparkles come out and
now,
stuff.
this sounds weird. You said you didn't want to see be ruined by everything. You didn't go out your way to find it, but I didn't actually see any of that.
That's because they were like the ceremony's on, and I was like, oh, I'll see the ceremony because that's not the kind of thing that's going to be there every day. It was
so it's
they're
like
streaming
one
it
of
live.
a kind sort of event.
Like when it happened, they were like, go on all our socials now and watch it. So it's like, and then you go on Instagram and it's buffering like hell. So you just go on YouTube and it's fine. Don't know why they stream it on Instagram.
Just wondered, Alton Towers will be doing Oktoberfest, won't they, as well?
Yeah.
Anyone going to Oktoberfest this year?
Everyone will be going for the beer. Yeah. They need someone outside selling beer at a reasonable price before you go in, and then you can just buy off him. Because I'm guessing the pints will be about 10 quid this year. They always go up. It's insane.
Just nice to share with everyone that wants to come and join. That's all. I thought I'd plug it in now if people needed to book holidays and stuff.
I think there's going to be summer of fun before then again. I think. Which will be. I still get those
glasses. Also go and it also won't go announced again, just like last year.
Yeah. Also got to get those glasses because there's some nice glasses in the shop. We went to get them last time, and then we were doing the VIP event. By the time that's done, the box closed. I was like, oh, we didn't get to go and get the glasses. It's a shame.
Of course. You're planning outfits already, Joneses. Oh, amazing. Oh, the organisation of the day was flawless, was it, Ben and Holly?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Amazing.
I'm
not sarcastic.
I feel like they didn't have enough people at Towers when people came for Nemesis. But
I might be wearing my lederhosen one again.
What, to Hyperia?
No, to Oktoberfest again. Not Hyperia.
Well, Hyperia is by a German company, so it'd be fitting. Mac. You know, only the person John Wardley could have been if he put the work in, but unfortunately he didn't. So Roland Mac is the one. But I don't know if you want to say anything else before we go.
No, I think that's it. That's all I had to say, really. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Obviously, I want to do an episode on phobias, so as well as the haunting hour. If anyone's up for that, just let us know. DM us.
We'll do it next week. Done, sorted.
Yeah.
We'll do it next week. And also, if you want spooky stuff, and I'm telling James this as well, but anyone in the audience, go and check out Nox Travels channel because he was in the Philippines recently. He did a ghost house on his own.
It's so good.
That was the one where you pay an extra fee and then you're allowed to vlog in there. And I'm like,
See,
they should do that in this country.
That'd be something that yeah, that's something really good.
That was a good video. That one.
So thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
Please press the like button.
Subscribe.
Share
Check
around
out.
with your friends. Subscribe.
Check out our a few things I will plug quickly. Actually, we went to the Pegasus Crossing recently, which is a road crossing for horses. But also episodes 3 and 4 will be coming up soon. I've been watching, and I showed bits of the show while I'm talking about it. I've been watching the Nerves of Steel documentary about Emerald Park and the new area that's been built. And the first 2 episodes are already on the channel, but 3 and 4 will be coming soon.
I do like them ones.
You
actually.
can.
They're really, really good.
If anyone wants to watch that, I might be able to hook you up. I used a VPN because you can't watch it in this country. If anyone's wondering how I got access to it, I used a VPN.
Sibby.
Yeah.
Well done.
But yeah, go watch if you want to see about Emerald's Park, Tierna Nog, The Quest, and the one that's called Something Force. It's a weird name considering one coaster is called Quest. But also the first 2 episodes they talk about how the park was built and then why they changed the name to Emerald Park, and they talk about Cuchulainn, which is how it's pronounced apparently, and how that was built. So
we'll see you
in the review.
Because for now,
we're gone.